Salam sejahtera, guys. Happy New Year 2025. Welcome back to Dive Log. My name is Adam.
Hey, hi, and I'm Dicky. As you all know, we had a wonderful year in 2024. A lot of guests came to our show, and we have been trying to keep up with providing you guys with, with discussions and talks and stuff like that. Here in 2025, we are going to step up our game, hopefully. Yeah, or as a Muslims, inshallah. We hope to provide you with more interesting and better podcasts. So, Happy New Year again to you guys. And we're going to start our year with a guest that come from South Malaysia.
All the way from Singapore.
All the way from Singapore.
She flew all the way just to be on our podcast.
Exactly. Just to be here to share her passion, to share her stories, and to talk about diving with you guys. I personally, we at Dive Log Podcast, we appreciate her so much for the time that she's giving to us, the effort that she's putting. She fly to Malaysia. She's flying from Singapore to Kuala Lumpur just for this sake.
So, Dicky, I want to tell you a story of how I met her.
Okay, how we met her then.
Well, yeah, actually at the same time.
But yeah, okay, so your story, how?
We were at Tioman Island at our dive center.
As
basically.
usual, our playground, okay?
I was just, going through my day and then being myself and doing my own thing on the island. And then suddenly I noticed this person has a very distinctive fin. Her fin is actually pink color. And also, jet fins, right? It has a lot of those holes. And then she filled up those holes with those very, very cute stickers.
Was it stickers or the tabs that you put on a Crocs?
Yeah, exactly. Those. You're correct. Those are the things. Yeah, and before that, she is actually one of my Instagram followers. I've seen her page, and then I've seen that particular fin. So I was like, And in her Instagram, there's no pictures of her or anything, right? I don't even know that she's a girl, basically.
Okay.
But of course, pink color fin, there's at least 60 to 70% chance that the diver is a girl.
Yeah.
So, but then again, so I saw her fins on the Instagram, and then I saw it at the dive center. I was like, this fin looks very familiar. And then the first thing I did was I went into my Instagram, and then I searched through her Instagram. I was like, this one is definitely her.
Yeah.
During that time when I was doing that, she was actually at the balcony setting up her gear.
Oh?
So I went over here, I introduced myself. Hello, my name is Adam. And then blah, 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 blah. Do you happen to know this Instagram account? And then she said, yeah, that's me. I'm the one. So she's trying to be low profile, basically. And understandably, she does not want people to know her and her Instagram. So we will definitely keep her Instagram a secret in our podcast. But you guys will get to meet her in person and, of course, talk about scuba diving. How do you meet her, Dicky?
Well, on the same event, right? When we were in our playground, we were at Tioman. She was, setting up her equipment and so on. So I was just minding my own business. But however, I got intrigued by this particular person, how she was setting up her equipment and all that kind of stuff. And she was all by herself. And then she went in. It was already pretty late, I think. And she was gearing up and going with her, side mount configuration, going in. And if you remember, I said, hey, Adam, this girl, she's diving all by herself. And I like the way how she managed with her equipment, setting up, preparing for herself to go out diving. Looks very disciplined. She came back up to the balcony, and then you approached her and telling all those stories that you told us before. From there on, then I introduced myself as well. And then today we have her in our podcast.
I would like to introduce you guys to Megan from Singapore.
Hi, Megan. Welcome to the Dive Log Podcast.
Hi, thank you. So good to be very warmly invited here. Yeah, it was a long distance. These two not paying for my flight. No, I'm just kidding.
We need more viewers.
Yeah.
More viewers, subscribe. I actually feel very humbled to be invited here because actually it started through watching Adam's Instagram. So yes, I was one of his Instagram followers. Then I knew that he was doing this video stuff. Like I knew that he liked creating videos. And then I've been like watching quite closely. I feel that they should have more and more people coming on lah. And then these are people who have been long time divers in the industry. Actually, as a viewer myself, I also hope that Dive Vlog gets to feature and interview more of these people. But as a newcomer to the diving industry myself, I feel super humbled just to be invited to speak.
Last year, our first season, we invited a lot of pro divers to our podcast.
Yeah.
People who actually know the industry in and out. This year, I think it's better for us, or maybe we should invite more casual divers
I agree. We should.
to come here and talk to us and to share their passion of scuba diving. People like Megan, especially. I think it will be a very good platform for everyone to share their knowledge and as well as their experience.
For sure.
Yeah.
Every individual, every diver starts somewhere, right? So we want to know, we want to hear your stories. We want to listen the stories to the dives that you do, the people that you meet,
Actually, right, I also want to mention my first time meeting Adam. And thank you for sharing, Dihi, because it's the first time that I'm hearing from you, like how you first saw me, which I never knew, because I think if I remember correctly, I met you like late at night, and I think we were having a chat or something like that at the bar. Yeah, then I had a conversation with you, right? For Adam,
it was
first time
Adam first, right?
First
Adam
time-
approached you first.
I'm a stalker, okay? Because first time that I saw him, I recognized him before he knew who I was. Yeah, so it was actually at the jetty. I was like, I came out from the boat and then I was walking down that path,
When
right?
you arrive to the island.
Yes. Yeah, when I arrived. So I was gonna turn left and I think I saw you kind of walking past. Yeah, and then I was like, oh, so that's the guy that I know.
So that's when you first saw me.
Yeah.
And you didn't say hi.
I'm very
Despite
shy.
knowing who he
You
was.
don't know who I am, what? Who am I? Like some
She already
Very secretive,
random diver.
If she can avoid, she avoid. Yeah, but then she got
She
got
already
cornered
established
Hey,
herself.
alamak, these people came to me.
I was
alamak.
what? Like I'm a random person only, what?
She already established herself as a stalker.
Yes,
She did say.
it was me. I was stalking on Instagram. Yes. My name is Megan. I'm from Singapore. I'm actually quite new. I've only been diving about, I think this is about 2.5 years now. So I distinctly remember that when I first started open water, it was a June. My family and I went to Perhentian. I didn't plan to learn scuba diving. I just was there on a resort holiday. And then it's just that I'm a bit of a cheapskate, right? I remember that actually if you learn diving in Malaysia, it is lower cost than in Singapore. Yeah, although those are not precisely the ideal reasons lah. But they were the reasons that I had. I did open water in Perhentian, where the sea is so nice. It's actually very calm. It's a good learning point lah. It's a good place to use as a base, and it's a good place that is very comforting, and I think it builds a lot of confidence lah. Next time I dove was to visit a relative and to dive with one of my relatives, and that was in Kapas Island. Over there, I didn't even plan to take advanced open water. I just wanted to go there to dive. And then because I only have like the basic certification, and I really wanted to do more dives, and I wanted to do a night dive with my relative because she was doing the night dive. The center asked me if I would like to take advanced open water. So that was why I just did advanced.
What makes you want to start scuba
Exactly.
diving in the first
Yeah.
place?
How did
I don't
diving
know, I was
came
bored.
into?
I was very bored. Yeah.
So you were looking for something to do.
I just wanted to leverage on being able to learn it at a lower cost. So actually, I used to have all sorts of misconceptions about diving. Like you don't have as much information as you have now, because now you're actively looking for dive information and dive content, right?
Yeah.
But I was just a normal person outside of the scene. So all I had was just hearsay, right? It's just perception. And my perception was just that diving is risky because that is what everybody else seemed to say. So just because everybody else say something doesn't mean it's true lah, right? At the
Yeah.
end of the day, right?
But you did mention the word is not funny, but it's interesting that we get a lot of this. People say, "Hey, diving is risky, diving is dangerous, diving is this and that." But are those people divers themselves? Were those comment
Not
given to you
all.
was from a diver or
Not all.
there you go.
And in fact, right, so I have a family friend and he dives also. He was the one saying that, oh, we dive, you should learn how to dive. And then he says that, no, actually diving is not risky. Not risky. It's only a rebreather risky. Then I didn't believe him because I just hadn't experienced it for myself yet. I always just let the idea sit. Never really wanted to act on it lah. Yeah, just until I happened to be at Perhentian to use my time to pick up something new lah. Yeah, so that's how I fell into it.
So one reason you started scuba diving is to prove that other people's perspective of scuba diving is wrong. As in people telling you it's dangerous, but you don't believe it and you just want to try it yourself to see if that is the case.
No, it was like random, man. It was random.
It just happens to be there and it's
Yeah.
because you are at
Nothing
Perhentian
to
and
do.
then it's cheap.
Nothing to do on the island. It's cheap.
That's a good way of getting into scuba diving, I think. Like even for me, I think you and me not so much difference when I started scuba diving. It's almost the same thing. I'm just looking for something new and here we are 15 years later and I have a podcast.
I guess there you go. But then maybe it has pros and cons to it also sometimes, right? When someone who have been exposed to diving or have seen a video of maybe National Geographic or whatsoever, then they get so interested with the underwater world and then now they say, oh, I want to become a diver, right? And then the next thing they do is they go to a dive center, try to get them self-certified and then, oh, this is not as what I've seen in the television or whatever. It can be a lot of stuff. What can be done so that diving is more promoted or publicized now? Yes, we have a lot of videos on YouTube or in the social media. People are putting up their diving experience and so on, but there are still demographics of people who never heard about diving at all.
Have another channel like Dive Talk. Have more Dive Talk.
Have more dive talk.
Actually, it already is
Dive talk or dive log?
Dive Log. Change my answer. No, but actually, they are already doing it through Discover Scuba, which people have a lot of opinions on because, like, when I was fun diving in Shibuya, Marlborough, we were doing this like shore dive. I was just like put with a DM who would like go super fast, and this is not really my favorite kind of DM because my favorite kind of diving is not moving because I'm a bit lazy. I saw something very strange looking. So it was basically a diver going this way and then he was putting his hand reaching down and there was another diver below him. So the diver on top was holding on to his tank where the valve is, right? And then so diver on the top was pulling him up.
Sounds like a DSD to me.
Yeah. So because the guy couldn't swim.
So basically the person on top was towing him around underwater lah, so to speak lah.
Yeah. There's always a lot of people, with differing opinions about Discover Scuba. But I believe that having a Discover Scuba is important in giving people more opportunities to come into the industry. Yeah.
Okay, agree.
Yeah. It wasn't really the way I fell into it, but I think that, statistic wise, number wise, I think that has helped a lot lah. Because very few people are gonna just commit, the $500, the $600 to do open water. Especially because they haven't felt how fun it could be or how fun it is. Experience the fun first, and then you feel like, okay, I gotta know more. I will pay for this. Yeah.
So when you did your open water, when was this? How long ago was this?
2.5 years ago, June.
Since then, now, where are you now? What level are you currently?
I'm recreational. So what happened was, at the end of the year, the next year, I wasn't diving very much. I went for that holiday in Cebu where we spent about 7-8 days there, and then every single day we would dive Escador Island. And on the straight 7 to 8 days, we never saw a whale shark. But there was a whale shark at the shore, but we were on a boat dive and they didn't allow us to jump in the water lah. So we missed it.
Okay.
After Cebu, I did a couple of dives in Hantu. Hantu is a local dive site
In Singapore.
In Singapore, yes.
Mhm.
An amazing dive site. We should talk about it.
Yeah, strong currents, nudies, a lot of nudies, frogfish, correct?
Got frogfish.
Oh,
I never see before.
okay. We need to go there.
I need to go there. I need to dive. I did a couple of dives in Hantu as a very lost person, very lost and new diver there. And because of the Cebu trip, because it was so many days and every morning we would just be diving the same island, I got really, really bored. I wish I could say like I was super interested in marine life and that was the only thing that attracted me, but I did get really bored and then I started watching people instead of watching the fish. I noticed kind of a big difference in people's comfort in the water. Then I started questioning because I had only been exposed to PADI. The only two agencies that I've ever heard of was like PADI and SSI. You know, those two are very common. And I know that Singapore has a GUE presence. I know that there are certain other smaller agencies, but back then I did not have the experience and the knowledge to know anything more in depth than that. So then I started exploring why are there other tech agencies that seem to have DIR beliefs, do it right. And I know that it's so controversial. Like, it's a very big topic on its own. People that can have many, many different opinions. And I just like to say that like it's not wrong to have your own opinion. It's not wrong to have a different opinion than what everyone else seems to have lah. The most helpful advice that was given to me is go out and talk to other people and then form your own opinion. Like, don't listen to me. Don't listen to one particular diver. You want to find the information that works the best for you in your diving life. Along the journey, you know, I've spoken to many people, and some people say in their personal experience, you know, they used to be from PADI or from SSI, and then they were don't know which agency, which other tech agency, they relearned under GUE, and they chose to do this because they want to dive with more people, or you know, they want a community. So people have different lives, different opinions in diving. Different reasons to end up in their agencies and different reasons to do the things that they do or to believe the things that they believe in now. And you know, the world is very diverse. We have to respect it.
So you have PADI Open Water Diver certification.
Yeah.
You have PADI Advanced Open Water Diver certification.
Yeah.
What else? What other certifications that you have right now?
Nitrox, for the sake of Nitrox.
Which agency is this?
This is under SSI.
SSI, Nitrox, and then?
Okay, I went to Tioman once for exposure to like a deep dive. It's not a deep dive, it's like, how deep is it? Like, I don't know. The
Deep
max
spec, is it? Deep specialty?
It's not. I don't think so. It's like the fake one. It's like the one that is 40 meters.
40 is deep spec lah. If you're talking about PADI, then it will be deep diver specialty.
I forgot already. Okay, my personal objective in taking it was to find out for myself whether I would freak out when I go lower than 30, because in Cebu, I think the lowest point that you go is 30 meters, and then at 30 meters everything gets blue and gets like darker, right? For me, it was completely fine. Like, I'm quite merry. Down there at around 30 are the caves, so that was my first exposure to caves, because in Cebu then I saw that from the topography of the islands, it's actually very cavey. So there are holes everywhere. There are like, you know, like circles, uneven circles, and they were very tempting for me to go in. I really wanted to go in, and I think that was what started me on to further that journey. Out of wanting to discover more, I needed to find out for myself whether I would physiologically be scared. Yeah.
Whether or not you're comfortable at that one.
Yeah, at 40. And I wanted to hit 40, like it was a target. But my target was not met during the course because of other circumstances lah. Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. So which is why I just ignore the cert personally.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Then what other certification do you have?
After the Cebu trip, I started getting interested in cave diving.
All right, awesome. This is this is very close to us.
Put a smile in our
There
There
face.
you go.
okay?
There
Change so
you go.
fast. Yeah,
So
yeah.
you are interested in cave diving?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, tell us more about it.
Okay, so I really want to get myself into a cave. And the reason is because in Cebu, at Pescador Island, there is a site called the Cathedral, which is a nice, huge. I don't know. The shape is like a cathedral, lah. It's like a big. Is a big shape like that, right?
So it's a pinnacle that has got the shape of a cathedral dome.
Something like that, but it's a hollow pinnacle. So you
Okay.
are swimming in it and you are just exploring and admiring it.
Okay.
But then the DM took us to a location that was similar, that he didn't really take many people there. And that was because we had already been diving with him for a long time.
Oh, okay. Only
And
the
so he
selected
knew
fews
that-
have been brought there.
I think we were just bored lah. We were
Okay.
So that place that he took us to, okay, was like I think you guys would consider it a restriction. It's the size of a man, like one single tank diver goes through.
Okay.
Side mount cannot fit. You take out one tank, maybe can. It's a tunnel, and it goes up, and then I think it comes down. It will come down, and there will be an exit on the other side. But inside is completely dark, and it's too small. That should not be dived. There's no line. People can get stuck inside.
This is inside the ocean.
Yes, it's
Below depth.
it's
Yeah.
inside the ocean. And the DM says that he has been through lah. So he
Mhm.
took us to see it, and I saw it. I saw the hole. It was black and dark and small. Yeah, I wanted to learn and I wanted to come back. So that was that moment that I decided to go into cave diving. After that trip, I searched around Singapore for information. Couldn't really find information. Then I remember, Philippines is full of caves. There must be cave divers. And I know that's not amazingly rational. It's not like the best kind of strategy, but pick something and go with it. So because of that, then I started Googling and I started searching cave diving in the Philippines. So it led me very quickly to this group. I think they are a non-profit. I think they are just a group made of cave divers. I'm not very sure. They get a lot of projects to do lah. It has to do with conservation. They do exploring. So they are not just cave divers, but they're also explorers. I've watched some videos. The entrances are super muddy, and exploring takes up a lot of time. You don't just go in and explore. You explore bit by bit.
Yeah.
You see whether there's even an entrance or not, and then you're like, yay, okay, let's call it a day. And then next day you do something,
Yeah.
something more, right? I messaged them. Wasn't really expecting a reply. Do you have a cave instructor? So they actually replied, to my surprise.
Uh-huh.
And they said, yes, we have two. So they passed me a contact of one of them. And actually, both of them are quite close, the two instructors. This turned out to be my Inner Space Explorer instructor. So you asked what certification do I have, right? Yes, I'm still recreational, but it's recreational under this small little tech agency.
Okay.
Yeah, called Inner Space Explorers. The founder is in Germany. They have a little tiny presence in Asia. I think that's about it lah.
So what certification was that? What was the title of your certification under ISC?
It's Basics of Exploration,
Basics
Recreational.
of Exploration.
Correct.
Tell us more about the course itself.
ISE is a tech agency. I think ultimately the ones who are like really into it eventually get into exploration. I think they have an exploration module which probably very few have.
Mm-hmm.
Very few students compared to the other larger tech agencies lah.
Okay.
They actually have a tech courses for deep diving. Okay, then there is one for rec. The equivalent is advanced rec. If you have this rec course, it just means that you know the protocols for
Mhm.
penetration diving
Okay.
to make it safe under ISC standards. You go in, you have line work lah, so they teach you that.
Okay.
Yeah, that stuff.
Okay.
And then they have another module for cave because of the fact that the environment in wrecks and in caves are different. Before you can do any of these modules, you need to be a solid diver under their standards. So their base standard is to pass basics of exploration.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
under
understand.
recreational.
Understand.
When I contacted him, then I told him where I want to be. I want to be a cave diver. And I also had my own, not insecurities, but like unanswered questions and things that I didn't and wouldn't know about myself. Like, I don't know if I will be erratic. I don't know if I will be turn out to be an unreliable cave diver. I don't know if maybe he thinks I'm dangerous. I don't know. So I told him that I'm relying on you to tell me when is the point that I cannot that you think I cannot lah. Like, when is the point that you think that I'm untrainable?
Your limit, basically.
Yeah. Then I told him, okay, so I'm going for cave diving. Then what must I do before? The before that would be to pass basics of exploration, right? And also side mount. And side mount was something that I was very, very interested in. When I was looking at side mount versus back mount, one of the local dive shop owners, I was having a conversation with him on the phone. So he hadn't seen me in person, but he knows I'm a girl, right? And then he asked, are you strong enough to carry 2 tanks? Then I was like, yeah, this is a good question. I don't think I'm strong enough. I really don't think I'm strong enough. And I know that there are so many female divers that are back mount divers. I think they are so much better, so much stronger than me lah. But even now, after so much exercise, you know, I really don't think I'm strong enough. Yeah. So I think side mount was the easier one to go for lah.
So the reason why you pick up side mount is because you're interested in it, and also it's because that you don't think you can handle a back mount twin set tank, which is why you went for side mount.
Yeah.
And also that is also because you are aiming to become a cave diver.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and then we just did the course, and I failed. I passed side mount, but I failed. He failed my basics of exploration. The BOE course, I think is similar to GUE fundies, but I can't really speak because I'm not in GUE. I haven't done a GUE fundies course yet. But from what I know, at least ISC BOE will teach you the propulsion kicks. So you have back kick. At that point, I couldn't do a back kick. Even throughout the course, they were like wondering, what's wrong with you? I couldn't do the back kick. And they teach you the helicopter kick lah.
Have you trained enough now that you can do both of the skills?
Yeah.
How long does it take you?
During the course, I was quite angry with myself because I could tell that I lacked the strength. It's a physical strength thing lah. What happened was during the second shore dive, the entry, so we did it at Anilao. There was a cyclone that was slowly coming down, and we were watching it, getting quite worried lah, because we knew that the rains would hit. So the seas were quite stirred lah. My instructor, me, and then my coursemate, so it's like 3 of us, like one triangle. So we're supposed to do our pre-dive check there before going in. Because I was so unstable with Don 2 tanks here, it's so heavy for me and it's so tiring. Then the thing swept me. So the wave came, right? And then it swept me and I just face planted into the water. It's very embarrassing. And then I was just like, you know, I was like doing this, right? Flapping.
Struggling to
right?
come back
Flapping
up.
under the surface, going up, right? Wheezing, right? And then every time I'm wearing a hood, so the hood will block out a lot of sound, right? A lot of the noise, right? When you wear hood, everything is muffled, right?
Yeah.
But can you imagine this? I was flapping under the surface and above the surface. Every time I came up, I can hear them laughing. Yeah, so the 2 of them, so that laughter actually made me very, very, very angry at myself for face planting. Yeah,
But
no,
it's
serious,
common
I
though,
was so angry.
right? I mean, sometimes we have to take it easy, right? We have to, don't take it too hard on ourselves.
Yeah, but
Correct.
I'm that kind of person.
Certain things can happen and do happen. And, similarly, it doesn't matter how many dives you have done, how experienced you are, how many certificate you have or knowledge you have under your belt. Things like that will happen. For example, when I did the cave course, me, Adam, and Achilles, we did this course. We had a really good instructor. At times, some of us do silly mistakes as well. There were also mistakes that we did that could potentially be very harmful for us. But then again, that's why we are there. We are, we're doing these courses so that we are going to be trained. Whatever problems that we may have, we may do, it's only there during the course, and after the course, we will not repeat it again, right? Adam.
I think sometimes, regardless of who you are, how many years you have dived, how many experience you have, or even how good you are at diving, if you find yourself enrolling in a course, so you have to go into it with a student mindset.
Empty cup lah, so to speak.
Yes. Because as Dicky said, that is the only time when we go to learn something new that is definitely foreign to us. So allow yourself to fail. Allow yourself to make mistakes. It's fine. Which is exactly why we are there. to learn.
Mm.
So it doesn't matter if you, not doing a good job or you are not perform as what you expect yourself to be.
Because this.
Because a lot of people that we meet, like students or even instructors who are students, they go into a course having an expectation that they're going to do well. If you are already think that you are good, why do you even want to take that course, right?
Exactly.
That is exactly not the way you should approach a course when you are going there. For instance, as Dicky said during our course, we were so humble for the first few days when we were there. Like I went in thinking that, oh, I'm gonna ace this because I'm well fully prepared in this, but hell no. We got our behind beaten so bad.
Yeah.
And then only we realized that we need to be in a state where we have to listen to the instructor, do as we are told, and not to think about the performance of what we are doing. So of course, performance will come in a later day. Even after you have passed your certification, you feel that you are competent. To be frank with you, most people are not.
Exactly. Yeah.
You still need to go and experience, you still need to do more dives in order to fully master what you have been taught. That's what I think. I understand that most recreational divers, they don't dive as often. They take scuba diving as an extra curriculum activity for their vacation. Safe to say, for all three of us, we are pretty serious when it comes to diving.
Exactly.
We want to excel, we want to be good, we want to perform as good as possible. So we go for training dives, which is completely foreign to a lot of people when I tell them that I go into the water for training. They were like, what? You are already a dive professional. Why do you still need to go down for doing skills and stuff? I tell them, which is exactly why I should be doing. In order to keep up to my skills and my levels and stuff. People who are diving for 10 years does not mean that they have know everything about scuba diving. There are so many disciplines out there that you can take. There are so many environments that you have not experienced before. Diving in salt water and diving in fresh water is totally two different things. Have you tried diving in fresh water?
The
Yeah.
swimming pool counted.
No, not really. Swimming pool is shallow. How to say, the
Swimming pool is
differences
very
is not as
confined
much
as well,
yeah, and it's a confined environment. Your trim and your buoyancy will definitely be different compared to freshwater and saltwater.
Yeah.
You might need to put your weights in a different position. You might need to increase or you might need to reduce your weight. It's definitely not the same when you're diving in both environments. Saltwater is more buoyant, right? By right, we should carry more weights. By right, we should carry more weights. But in my case, when I'm driving saltwater in Saimang, I don't carry weights. If I am diving in freshwater, I carry one weight. The reason being I'm carrying the extra weight is because of trim. It's not because of buoyancy. It's because of for me to maintain my trim. As you can see, as you guys know now, so it's totally sometimes different from our perspective of what we think is supposed to be. You will never know until you try it yourself, experience it, and of course you need to do a couple of dives in order to know your mistakes and what you should do to compensate for it.
Yeah.
There are a lot of differences that you cannot anticipate, which is why we go for training, which is why we go for courses, and which is why finding a good instructor is very, very important.
Very important.
Especially
exactly.
when it comes to technical diving. Recreational diving, of course, is good to have a knowledgeable and a
Competent instructor.
good instructor. But when you go up the ladder, even at higher level, the higher the level you are, the more important the instructor is going to be in order to teach you. Because there are a lot of things that the textbooks or the manual will not tell you. I'm telling you based on my experience. When we are doing our overhead environment course, right? Most of the stuff that were taught by our instructor is not written on the book. The stuff that the manual says, those things are very general. But when it comes to skills, when it comes to actual applications, those are the things where you will get to learn from your instructors. And most importantly, do not be afraid to fail.
So what you mentioned earlier about, when you do a course, be humble yourself, right? Don't go in the course expecting to be a superhero and expecting to like really pass it. But although I know that from asking you, you did expect a pass from your cave course, right? For me, I did exactly that mistake when I did basics of exploration, because at that point of time, I thought I was good. Like, I thought I was a good diver. I really did. Like, I knew that buoyancy, I have no issues. And I knew that I'm a very relaxed person in the water. I think I could be so relaxed that I might fall asleep. I keep saying that I get bored underwater, right? And because I wanted to be in cave diving so bad, failure wasn't an option. I wanted a pass, and I was going for the pass, and I was going hard for the pass. There's a clear difference between BOE and side mount, but it's just that when we took it together. So we incorporated both lah, but they are assessing different things. The BOE would be the kicks. I couldn't do any of the kicks well. I couldn't do a back kick. It just didn't work. I was like, made that mistake where you back kick and then you go upwards.
Yeah.
That's because you're not bringing your fin down. You have to bring your fin down and then do the back kick, and that will work for me. So that one I couldn't even do. Obviously, the whole course is a fail already. Helicopter kick, I needed practice, and then after the practice, I needed to practice more to have the strokes refined, which I still think I do. I need to refine them. At the end of the course, we have our feedback, like individual feedback session. And this is where we have like the one-on-one instructor to student chat about what your problem is and about you and the big picture and in relation to where you want to go. So he said that my core strength is very low, that I'm not strong enough because I fell down, I face planted right, and I'm very unstable, and like a lot of the times I'm holding on to other people when I'm with like both tanks, which I still find very heavy. He said this, prepare your tissues, and he said that my BOE just cannot pass that. So what he expected was for me to go back and practice and to send him videos of those things, and then of course to repeat. Oh yes, in BOE we also are trained to do this thing called circle of basics, which is like a protocol to run through your regulator switch, mask removal and putting it back on, stowing your primary light, taking up your backup light, putting it back, and regulator, switching it back. He asked for that too. So that also needed refinement. A lot of refinement. Actually, BOE it sounds very simple, but the way that we are trained to do it, even the how to stow the primary and where and how to stow the backup, and which hand do you use on the backup, which hand is a supporting hand, that also matters. If you don't practice BOE, then when you do it again, you're super rusty. So it's one of those things that requires practice. He failed me very hard after the course, but of course he passed me on side mount. Then you ask, how long did it take for me to get from cannot do back kick to can do back kick, right? So straight after the course, because I was so angry at myself, and so it made me like very driven, I would make time and I would go to the pool. Also because I was not very confident and not very comfortable with using side mount. I really wanted to be able to do it alone because of the fact that I had fallen down in the water and embarrassed myself, and then I knew that I wasn't competent. I didn't feel competent at it. So I went to the pool to figure things out very slowly and to practice the kicks in an environment that was controlled. It's like there's no current, nothing is pushing you. It's just if you're not able to do the kicks, it's you. It's nothing else, right? So I had altogether about 12 pool sessions. So there were pains in the journey because I would spend a lot of money to book a pool session and then go in, then it will start raining. They knock the thing and then you have to get out because of lightning. And then there were other times where I settled my day to do this thing and I book it and I pay for it, but then work comes out and then like half my time is gone, things like that lah. So there was little struggle, little pains. Even after all those sessions, when I sent him videos of my heli kick, he just has no reply. I mean, sorry, he will reply what I can improve. Okay, but there will be no pass. He never comes back with a pass. And then I was like, what does it take? To what standard does he want it? And then he asked, when are you going to dive in the sea? When are you going to do some real dives? And then I realized like, oh, yeah. So his point was that experience in the sea, in real dives, forms the actual experience. And at the end of the day, there is no shortcut to that. You dive 100 dives in a pool, but if you're not exposed to the real world,
The elements.
you know how the elements and how dives, like for example, like I don't know, if something suddenly changes, like current changes, did you even know that the current can just suddenly change? You can't run away from the experience and it's the people who have gone through the experience, who have worked hard at what they do, who have intentionally refined their kicks, gone for their own version of improvement, at the same time enjoying it. They really deserve to be commended lah. That was quite difficult for me because as a new diver, I have to dive at Hantu, and then my navigation very dodgy. I'm a very bad navigator on land and in the sea. So that was also quite scary for me to have to break through, because prior to that, it has always been guided dive. I go find the nudies, go find the fish, okay, pointing out to you, then you have fun and then you go back to the boat. That kind of dive did not suit my objective, which is to go get in the sea and get the practice in. After those 12 dives, then I went to the sea unguided. Of course, I played it safe. I just went slowly according to my own comfort level. Then I started getting more confident and more comfortable. Yeah, I started knowing how to navigate. Eventually, he passed me. Yeah.
In whatever we do, right, we need to give ourselves time. We need to have the experience, and from experience, we will eventually become better at what we are trying to do, correct? I hope the listeners are not going to get me wrong. He understood me wrongly, but it's sad being in the industry and seeing people taking courses and coming to the island and wanting to do diving and so on and so forth. They have an expectation, but they do not want to see and reflect back to themselves. They almost do not want to accept their flaws or shortcomings. For example, we go and take courses because we need to be trained, but they come to the course wanting to be certified. It's two different things, right? Being trained, knowing how to do, you can be a competent diver. Go there to want to be certified, not necessarily you are a competent diver. Yes, you're certified. Hey, a lot of people are doing a lot of stuff here, right? So let's not be naive about that. But it's a sensitive issue, yes. What I want to say is that when you come to a course, when you take a course, we always say that diving is safe. However, it has inherent risk. If you're not going to be responsible of yourself, you're putting yourself in trouble, so to speak. In the course, that is where you can learn, and that is where you can do mistake and still get out of it, because there are instructors. The instructor is there to train you and to take care of you. If he or she says that you're not there yet, that means you're not there yet, right? I don't understand why people think that everybody can be certified in 4 days or 3 days. They do not want to open to the fact that I may need a longer time. But they say, oh, I've paid you money. It's 4-day course. At the end of the 4 days, you should certify me. It's not the other way around. Not that I should show my competency so that you can certify me. So these are the things that I want to highlight, so that the newcomers, the new breed of divers, the new generations that want to come into diving, think a little bit more about, when you want to take up this sport. Any sport for that matter, right? But more so with diving, because there's a lot more to learn. Remember, we are created to live in this world on land, not underwater. Otherwise, we are already a fish, right? Humans are unique because you have brains and you can use your knowledge and, your capabilities to venture into other realms. Hence, here underwater. So learn and get trained, and eventually you'll enjoy your diving.
There are certain places in the world where instructors charge the training by days,
Exactly.
not by cost. For instances, like if you are doing an open water, they will give you a minimum day. It's a 4 days training. So each day I'm going to charge you this amount of money. Let's say $300 per day. After the 4 days, if the instructor thinks that you require more days, you will have to commit to it. Everyone learns at a different rate. You might take 4 days to learn something. I might take 6 days to learn something. So it depends on our own capability. And also, of course, the instructor is very important. There is not really a set time frame where you can actually tell yourself that you are competent at something.
As a matter of fact, ISE's rule is that if you fail a course, you have 6 months to get back with the videos to show, 6 months to improve, and to get it passed by. I had to ask him for extension because I just couldn't do it.
For him to pass you, you just need to send videos of you doing whatever skills that the instructor think that you weren't competent back then. Do you need to physically going to dive with him in order for him to certify you?
No need. This would be more applicable to the ISE tech modules. I think you have to be consistent. You have to be diving at your highest certification level within like 2 years or something in the last 2 years. I think so, 2 to 3 years. And the reason for that is because they don't want someone to stop diving for 5 years and then suddenly go do a cave dive. That also has to be proven. For me to pass BOE is just to show him the kicks and show him a good circle of basics and show all of that consistently. And at the same time, he knows I have been diving. He knows I've been diving a lot consistently and I have that chunk of videos. I'm not sure whether he has been watching my general behavior, like, just knowing that I'm always doing dives monthly. I'm not sure if he's quietly watching that, but he passed me with just the videos. Then I'm also asking, because I'm doing the future courses, right? Like, what does that mean? Like, to be diving consistently at the highest level, what, do I just give you a video? I'm not very clear on that, but it's more than just sending a video. Yeah.
Thank you for watching to the end of part 1 of our conversation with Megan. I hope you guys enjoyed it. You may go to our episode list to check out part 2 or any of our interesting podcasts available there. If you enjoy our podcast, kindly do consider subscribing to us. Stay tuned, have a nice day, and dive safe. Here's a preview of the next episode.
What is it about the wreck that is so interesting? You did say just now a graveyard, right? Eerie. I'm not keen in going to places where there are dead bodies.
And Megan, you mentioned this a lot, that you like to go on trips alone by yourself, being a solo diver going on trips. What is your take on that?
Then on my last night there, I was alone, right? And I had dinner there. I was like getting fuzzy, Then he started, talking to me out of being interested in me being